The spit hit her cheek at exactly 6:47 a.m., in front of a diner full of people too afraid to blink. Jenny Martinez froze, a half-filled coffee pot trembling in her hand. Its brown liquid sloshing inside like her heartbeat. She was 43, a single mother. A woman who'd forgotten what rest felt like. The kid who did it was 17 and rich enough to think the world revolved around him. His laugh echoed through the diner like broken glass, bouncing off the stainless steel counters and cracked vinyl booths. But 10 men in leather vests weren't laughing. Their forks stopped halfway to their mouths. Their eyes met across table. Something unspoken passed between them. An old code, older than the ink on their arms. The air thickened, heavy with the kind of silence that comes before violence. None of them knew it yet, but what happened next would shatter a family's empire, resurrect a woman's dignity, and prove that some debts are paid in ways money can't buy. Before that moment, Jenny's morning had been painfully ordinary. Her phone had buzzed at 4:30 a.m. Miguel again. "Mama, I can't breathe right," he whispered through the line, his voice thready. She was already out of bed before the words finished. One hand on his forehead, the heat of fever still burning him from the inside. The cheap antibiotics weren't working. The real medicine, the one the doctor actually prescribed, cost $217. Her checking account balance the night before was $43. Jenny smiled anyway, the kind of lie mothers are fluent in. "It's working, baby. Just needs time," she said it softly. Knowing time was the one thing she didn't have. "I've got to go to work. Mrs. Chen will come check on you, okay?" "I'm 12, Mama. I don't need—" "I know," she said, kissing his forehead. "But humor me." She left before he could see her cry. The walk to the Mountain View diner was 40 minutes. Her car's transmission had died months ago, and the repair estimate might as well have been a lottery number. So she walked, shoes patched with cardboard that was now dissolving from the wet morning ground. When she pushed open the diner door at 5:50 a.m., the bell above it gave its tired chime. Gerald Hanley, the owner, was behind the counter counting yesterday's tips, his round face lit by the register glow. "Morning, Gerald," she said. He grunted, never looking up. 6 years she'd worked there, 6 years of please, thank you, and perfect orders. And he still hadn't learned her son's name. "Coffee's low," he muttered. "I'll make a fresh pot. And table 9 needs wiping. Those bikers leave ring stains." Jenny bit back a reply and nodded. The Devil's Advocates MC always sat at table 9, 10 of them, every Tuesday. Rough on the outside, polite where it counted, and the best tipper she had. Gerald treated them like a liability. Jenny treated them like people. "I'll get it clean," she said, and grabbed a rag. Outside, the world was still gray, the kind of pre-dawn that pretends it's gentle before turning cruel. Inside, the freezer hummed. The old clock ticked, and Jenny tried to believe the day would pass like all the others. But peace like that never lasts. At 6:15 a.m., the sound came, low, steady, rolling thunder. 10 motorcycles cut across the parking lot, chrome flashing in the cold light. Through the window, she saw Marcus Stone climb off his Harley first. The man looked carved from granite, gray in his beard now, but shoulders still built for battle. The others followed: Tommy, Sarah, Jackson, Bear, Ghost, Chains, Doc, Ratchet, Smoke. They filled the doorway like a storm. Marcus tipped his head. "Morning, Jenny. Morning." "Table 9, she answered with the first real smile of her day. "Where else would we go?" he said, sliding into the big booth. The others followed, leather creaking, laughter low. She poured coffee before they even asked. "Miguel still sick?" Marcus asked when she refilled his cup. Jenny's hand paused mid-pour. "He's fine, Marcus, really. He—" gave her the look fathers reserve for daughters, who lie badly but mean well. "Stack of pancakes?" "Coming up." She turned toward the kitchen, pretending the weight in her chest wasn't crushing her. From behind, Sarah called softly, "Jenny, you need anything, money, rides, whatever, you say the word." Jenny didn't turn around. "I'm okay," she said. Pride can edit the truth until it's unrecognizable. At 6:35 a.m., a BMW M5 slid into the lot like a black snake. Jenny noticed it immediately. Everyone in town did. The license plate read BHTMR1. She didn't need Google to know who that belonged to, Senator Whitmore's son. "Oh, hell," Tommy muttered from table 9. Rich boys here. Marcus glanced outside. Everybody stay cool, he said, though nobody believed cool was possible anymore. The diner door opened, and Braden Whitmore walked in like he owned the oxygen. Perfect hair, designer jacket, watch worth more than Jenny's yearly rent. Two friends trailed him, one in sunglasses indoors, the other already filming with his phone. They picked a booth in Jenny's section, of course. "Be right with you," she called. "We're in a hurry," Sunglasses said. Jenny grabbed menus and her best fake smile, the one that cost her another piece of herself each time. "Good morning. What can I— Do you have anything that isn't complete garbage?" Braden interrupted, sneering. His friend's camera swung to capture her face. At table 9, chairs scraped the floor. Marcus's hand froze around his coffee cup. "We have a full menu," Jenny said carefully. "Everything's fresh." "I seriously doubt that," Braden muttered. "Bring me egg whites." "No. Oil and fruit that doesn't look like it. Came from a dumpster. And coffee that doesn't taste like motor oil." Jenny nodded. "I'll get that right." "Did I ask you to speak?" he snapped, glancing at her name tag. "Jenny," the diner's hum quieted. Not silence, just awareness, sharp and dangerous. "No, sir," she whispered. "Then don't." He leaned back, smirking. "Just bring the food and try not to screw it up." Jenny walked to the kitchen on legs that didn't feel like hers. She put in the order, checked her section, and kept working because bills don't stop for humiliation. At table 9, Sarah's knuckles whitened around her fork. "She shouldn't have to take that," she said. Marcus didn't look up. "No, she shouldn't." "Then why are we sitting here?" "Because we wait," Marcus replied. "We see if the boy's smart enough to learn on his own." Tommy snorted. "He's not." "Then," Marcus said, "we teach him." At 6:42, Jenny set the plate in front of Braden. Egg whites steamed, fruit arranged like art. "Perfect," she said softly. Braden poked a strawberry, wrinkled his nose. "It's bruised." It wasn't. "Are you incompetent or just stupid?" Jenny swallowed hard. "I can bring another— I want the manager. I can help you. Are you deaf?" His voice rose. "Manager. Or do I need smaller words?" Laughter from his table. The phone camera kept rolling. Gerald waddled out from the back, wiping his hands. "What's the problem?" "Your waitress can't follow instructions," Braden said lazily. "Look at this garbage." Gerald didn't glance at Jenny, just turned to the senator's son. "I apologize," he said quickly. "We'll comp your meal." "You think that fixes it?" Braden grinned. "Maybe train your staff not to be useless." Gerald shot Jenny a cold look. "Be more careful," he said. She nodded because survival demanded it. "Bring me steak and eggs, medium rare," Braden added. "And remember, you're paid to serve." Not breathe. She turned away, biting her lip until she tasted copper. Behind her, Sarah whispered, "Marcus." "I swear—" "Not yet," Marcus murmured. But his jaw was locked tight. Jenny kept moving. She took 5 more orders, refilled 12 coffees, pretended she wasn't unraveling. Survival isn't optional when your child's life depends on tips. At 6:46 a.m., Gerald himself cooked Braden's steak, terrified of complaints. Jenny carried the plate to the table. "Finally," Braden muttered, cutting into it. "Overcooked." It wasn't. Perfect pink center, perfect sear. "I can have the cook—" "No," he interrupted, standing. His friends rose with him, phones ready. "You know your problem?" he said, stepping closer. Jenny's breath caught. "You people don't understand your place." He pulled out his wallet, dropped a single dollar on the table, payment for a comped $30 meal. Maybe spend less time pretending. "You matter and more time. Learning to do your job." He turned for the door, paused, looked back, and in one smooth motion spit in her face. Time fractured. The saliva landed warm against her left cheek, sliding down toward her jaw. The sound it made, soft, wet, final, echoed louder than any shout. Jenny's hand rose halfway, stopped. Every eye in the diner watched. Gerald froze. No one moved. Braden laughed. His friends laughed. The camera kept rolling. Jenny didn't cry, not yet. Tears belong to private spaces, and this humiliation was public. But her eyes burned. Somewhere in the back of the room, a chair scraped. Table 9 stood. Marcus Stone didn't rise fast. He rose like a mountain moves, slow, inevitable. "Oh, shit," Ghost muttered. "Here we go," Tommy said. 9 others stood behind Marcus, leather creaking like thunderclouds gathering. They didn't rush. They walked, boots pounding in rhythm, a sound like judgment approaching. Braden's smile faltered. "What the hell is this?" Marcus didn't answer. He stopped 3 feet away, close enough to feel, far enough to warn. "You're going to apologize to the lady," he said. His voice was quiet, the kind of quiet that makes men listen. "Excuse me?" Braden laughed, thin and brittle. "Do you know who I am?" Marcus tilted his head. "Don't care who you are. Care what you did." "I didn't do anything!" "She's just a—" "Finish that sentence," Sarah said behind Marcus, her voice calm as ice. "Please. I want to hear how it ends." Braden's bravado cracked. His friends edged backward. "My father's Senator Whitmore," he said, louder now. "1 phone call and this dump gets shut down. 1 call and you're all arrested. Harassment, assault, whatever I say you did." Marcus smiled faintly. "Make the call. You think I won't?" "I think you will," Marcus said. "And I think it won't matter." Braden's hand shook as he dialed. "Put it on speaker," Marcus said. 2 rings, then a weary voice answered. "Braden, it's 6:45 in the morning." "Dad! I'm at this diner. These bikers are threatening me." "What did you do?" Silence. "Nothing. There was this waitress who—" "What did you do, Braden?" the senator repeated, voice like a verdict. "Why do you always assume—" "Because you always do something. Every time I get a call, it's because you've done something." Braden's face flushed crimson. "That's not fair." "Handle it yourself," Senator Whitmore said. "I'm done cleaning up your messes." The line clicked dead. The sound of disconnection was deafening. Braden stared at the phone, stunned. "He'll call back," he whispered. "No," Marcus said softly. "He won't. You've used up all his patience." The boy's friends slipped out the door, loyalty evaporating like cheap cologne. Marcus stepped closer. "So here's what happens. You apologize. Loud enough for everyone to hear." Braden swallowed. "I'm sorry." Louder. "I'm sorry." "Look at her when you say it." He turned toward Jenny. She hadn't moved, spit still drying on her skin. "I'm sorry," he said again, voice cracking. "Not from remorse yet, but from fear." Marcus studied him. "Words are cheap," he said. "You need to understand what you did." "What more do you want?" 3 days, Marcus said. "You work here. Full shifts. You stand where she stands. See what it feels like to be treated like you treated her." The diner gasped. Braden's mouth fell open. "You can't make me—" "You're right," Marcus said. "I can't. But that video—" He nodded toward the friend's abandoned phone. "On the table. I can make sure it goes everywhere. Yale might have questions. Your daddy's campaign might too." The math was simple and merciless. Braden's shoulders slumped. "Fine," he muttered. "Fine, I'll do it." Marcus turned to Gerald. "He shows up late, you call me. He disrespects anyone, you call me. He quits early, you call me. Understood?" Gerald nodded, sweat glistening on his temples. Marcus looked back at Braden. 6 a.m. tomorrow. Don't be late." Then the bikers stepped aside, clearing a path. Braden walked through it like a condemned man, his expensive shoes squeaking against tile. The BMW roared out of the lot, disappearing down the road. For a moment, no one spoke. Then the diner exhaled. Jenny wiped her cheek with the back of her trembling hand. "Why did you do that?" she asked. Marcus shrugged. "Because somebody had to." "You don't even know." "Me. I know enough." He reached into his wallet, pulled out 2 crisp hundreds, and placed them on the counter. "That's not charity," he said. "That's back pay for 6 years of tips we should have given you." One by one, the others followed suit. When they were done, $12,180 lay on the counter. Jenny stared at it like it might vanish. "I can't," she whispered. "You can," Sarah said gently. "Medicine, car repair, new shoes, whatever you need." Jenny's throat closed around the words she couldn't say. "Why?" she finally managed. Marcus looked at her like the answer was obvious. "Because we take care of our own," he said. "And you're one of ours now." Outside, engines rumbled to life. 10 motorcycles rolled away, the thunder of them shaking the diner windows. Inside, Jenny stood still, tears slipping free, not from humiliation this time, but from something rarer, being seen. She gathered the bills, folded them carefully, slid them into her apron pocket, and went back to work. When she poured coffee now, people said thank you. When she set down plates, they looked her in the eye. The air felt cleaner, like someone had opened a window in a suffocating room. By 7:15 a.m., she was on break, sitting at the counter with a cup of coffee gone cold. Her hand still trembled. She pulled out her phone and called the clinic. "I'd like to schedule that follow-up," she said, "and I'll pay for the real antibiotics today." When she hung up, she pressed her palms over her eyes and let herself cry. Not quietly, not ashamed, just release. The morning light through the diner window glinted on the chrome napkin holder, reflecting a woman who looked the same but wasn't. Jenny Martinez, waitress, single mother, survivor, and now the accidental spark of a story that would set a town, a senator, and a spoiled boy on fire. What she didn't know was that somewhere across town, Braden Whitmore sat in his father's marble kitchen staring at his reflection in a black cup of coffee. The laughter that had come so easily hours ago was gone. The video file sat on his friend's phone, already uploading. And for the first time in his life, Braden wasn't worried about being grounded or scolded or losing privileges. He was worried about who he actually was and whether that could ever change. Braden Whitmore didn't sleep that night. His phone kept lighting up, buzzing with notifications he didn't dare open. The video was out there. He could feel it, spreading, mutating, becoming something bigger than him. He didn't know which version the world had seen yet. The clip where he spat on the waitress, or the one where 10 bikers surrounded him like avenging angels. Either way, the damage was done. His name, once a synonym for privilege, was now trending with disgust. His father's PR team would call it a misunderstanding, a moment of poor judgment, maybe even a deeply regrettable lapse. But for the first time, Braden didn't want spin. He wanted silence. He sat on the edge of his bed, the room around him too neat, too curated, every object expensive but meaningless. The watch on his wrist still ticked, though time felt broken. He thought about Jenny, the way she hadn't flinched, the way she'd just endured it. The humiliation he'd thrown at her didn't make her smaller. It made him smaller. The sound of his own laughter replayed in his mind, warped and hideous. He wanted to claw it out of his memory. But memory doesn't forgive. It just loops until you understand. Downstairs, the news played on mute. His father stood by the window, phone to his ear, voice taut with rage. "Pull the footage," Senator Whitmore snapped. "I don't care who owns it. Pay them off," a pause. "Then issue a statement. No, my statement. The senator and his family do not condone disrespect or violence of any kind." Yes, yes. The usual garbage. He turned, saw his son, and hung up. "You realize what you've done?" "I said I'm sorry." "You said that to her." "Not to me, not to this family." Braden almost laughed. "This family? You mean your campaign? Don't start." "You never cared what I did unless it showed up in headlines." "And you've given them headlines," his father hissed. "You've handed my opponents a silver platter. Senator's son attacks working-class woman. You have any idea how that looks?" "Yeah," Braden said quietly. "It looks true." For once, the senator didn't have a response. He stared at his son, the polished mask slipping for just a moment, revealing exhaustion underneath. "There's a way to fix this," he finally said. "You're going back there tomorrow. You'll do the work those men demanded. You'll show contrition. Cameras will love it. Redemption arc. By Monday, the story changes." "So this is about optics," Braden said. "It's about survival." The senator's voice softened, but the edges stayed sharp. "Ours, not yours." Braden nodded slowly. "Got it." When dawn came, he was already dressed. Plain jeans, gray hoodie, old sneakers that still looked too new. The BMW keys sat on his dresser, untouched. He called for a car service instead. Arriving in that luxury machine again felt like cheating. The driver dropped him 2 blocks, away from the Mountain View diner. The morning, air bit cold against his skin. He walked the last stretch alone, every step heavier than the last. The sign above the diner buzzed faintly. the O in open flickering like a warning. Inside, Jenny was already there. Same apron, same tired eyes. But something was different. She stood taller. There was a light behind the exhaustion now, thin but real. When the bell chimed and she looked up, her face stiffened. She didn't speak. Neither did he. The silence was a strange kind of mercy. Gerald appeared from the kitchen, eyes narrowing. "You're early," he said. "Marcus told me 6. Braden glanced at the clock. 5:45. "I wanted to start. We'll see if you finish." Gerald tossed him an apron. "Put that on and take orders from table 2. And remember, tips go to the house." Braden nodded. The apron felt like a noose around his pride. The first customer was a trucker, grease under his nails, kindness in his eyes. "You new here, kid?" he asked, sipping coffee. "Just helping out." "Good, keep the refills coming." Braden poured carefully, both hands shaking. The trucker smiled faintly. "You'll get the hang of it." Not everyone was kind. A woman at table 4 sneered. "Aren't you that senator's kid?" "Yeah," he said. "Didn't think you'd show your face here." "Neither did I." "Good," she said, "because I wanted to see it when someone else spits on you." He didn't answer. He just wiped the counter until the rag was soaked. Jenny watched from across the diner, saying nothing. At 7 a.m., the door swung open again. The sound of engines had preceded it, 10 of them. The devil's advocates entered, filling the space with that unmistakable hum of danger and loyalty. Marcus caught sight of Braden behind the counter and gave a small, approving nod. "You showed up," he said. "Good start." "I said I would." "Promises are easy," Marcus replied. "Follow-through isn't." "I'll do what I have to." "No," Marcus said. "You'll do what's right." The next 3 hours passed in slow motion. Braden carried plates, poured coffee, wiped tables. Every mistake earned a new layer of humility. When he spilled syrup on his hand, Jenny handed him a towel without a word. When he broke a plate, she just said, "Clean it and move on." Her calm unnerved him. He wanted her to yell, to release the fury he knew he deserved, but she didn't. She worked beside him like nothing had changed. And somehow that was worse. During the lunch rush, a family came in. Father, mother, 2 little girls. The younger one, maybe 6, pointed at Braden. "That's the bad man," she whispered. The father's face tightened. "Shh," he said, too late. Braden froze mid-step. The mother looked away. Jenny caught his eye. "Keep going," she said. He nodded and delivered their food, pretending his throat wasn't closing. By 2 p.m., the lunch crowd thinned. Braden collapsed on a stool behind the counter, sweat dampening his collar. Marcus finished his coffee and approached. "Tougher than a gym workout, huh?" "It's not that," Braden said. "It's—" He struggled to find the word. "Loud," Marcus raised an eyebrow. "Loud? In my head. Every time I hear a laugh or a door slam, I think someone's talking about me." "They are," Marcus said simply. "For now. And after? That depends on what you do when nobody's filming." Jenny came by with a wet rag, wiping the counter. "Shift's not over," she said. "Back to work." Braden stood without complaint. She noticed that. It wasn't respect yet, but it was something like it. By the second day, the diner's regulars had decided whether to forgive or ignore him. Some nodded curtly. Others muttered under their breath. Jenny noticed the way he listened more than he spoke now. He stopped correcting people, stopped posturing, even helped the old dishwasher Maria carry crates to the back. Jenny didn't trust it yet. Repentance, she knew, often wore costumes. But when she saw him slip his own wallet into the tip jar, quietly, when no one was watching, something in her chest shifted. That night, when she got home, Miguel was awake waiting for her. "How was work, Mama?" he asked. "Different," she said, setting the grocery bag down. "Good different or bad different?" "We'll see." He smiled faintly. "Did the medicine work?" "You tell me," she said, touching his forehead. The fever had broken. His skin was cool. "Feels like yes." He grinned. "Told you it'd work?" Jenny smiled, the exhaustion melting into relief. "You did." Meanwhile, across town, Braden sat in his room again. Hands blistered, back aching. He'd done real work for the first time in his life, and it hurt. But it also quieted something inside him. For years, He'd lived surrounded by people who laughed at cruelty and mistook it for power. But the look in Jenny's eyes that, mourning, wounded but unbroken, had cut through all of it. He didn't want to be that person anymore. He wanted to be seen differently, maybe even be different. He didn't know how. But he knew where to start, by showing up again tomorrow. On the third morning it rained, the kind of steady, cold rain that seeps through clothes and bone alike. Jenny arrived early as usual, drenched but smiling. Braden was already there, mopping the floor. "You're early," she said. "Habit," he replied. "Guess it beats being late." She nodded, moving behind the counter. "Coffee? Please." She poured him a cup and set it down. "On the house," she said. He blinked. "Why?" "Because I believe in small mercies. I don't deserve it. That's not the point." Marcus and the others came in half an hour later. Same seats, same order, but the air was lighter now, less tense. Braden poured their coffee without being asked. Marcus smiled. "Not bad," he said. "Maybe we'll make a man out of you yet." "Maybe," Braden said. "Or maybe I'll just make fewer mistakes." That's a start. When the breakfast rush hit, a truck driver accidentally spilled his cup, splashing Braden's hand with scalding liquid. He hissed and backed away. The driver cursed, apologizing. "You okay, kid?" "Yeah," Braden said, shaking it off. Jenny grabbed a wet towel, pressing it to his hand. "You'll blister," she said. "Thanks," he muttered. "Don't thank me. Just be careful." "I will." She looked up, met his eyes, and stopped looking like the world ended. "It's just a burn. You're tougher than you look." "You're softer than you pretend," she replied. For the first time, he smiled. Not the polished grin he'd practiced his whole life, but a small, honest one. When his shift ended, Marcus caught him outside. "You did good, kid." "I didn't do anything special. You showed up." "Most don't." Braden hesitated. "Marcus, why do you care?" Marcus looked out at the horizon where the rain had finally stopped. "Because once I was you," he said quietly. "Different details, same arrogance. Someone gave me a second chance. Figured I'd return the favor." "Did you take it?" "Eventually. Took a few punches first." Braden smiled faintly. "Seems fair." "Life usually is," Marcus said. "Eventually." That evening, Jenny found a note tucked under the napkin holder at table 9. No name. Just handwriting she recognized from Braden's order slips. "Thank you for not hating me when I gave you every reason to. I'll keep showing up." She folded it carefully and slipped it into her apron pocket. She didn't tell anyone, not even Miguel. Some apologies don't need an audience. Days turned into weeks. Braden kept working, even after the third day ended. No one told him to stay. He just did. The headlines faded, replaced by newer scandals. The world forgot faster than it condemned. But in that diner, forgiveness wasn't about forgetting. It was about proving every morning that you meant it. One Friday evening, the senator walked in. The bell above the door chimed like a challenge. Conversations died mid-sentence. Jenny froze mid-pour. Braden was wiping down a booth, back turned. He didn't notice until his father spoke. "Still here, I see." Braden straightened. "Yeah?" "This circus has gone on long enough," the senator said. "You've done your penance. Come home." "I am home," Braden said quietly. His father blinked. "Don't be ridiculous." "I'm not. You belong in college. Not scrubbing tables." "Maybe, but I need this first." "Need what?" Braden looked at Jenny, who was pretending not to listen, but failing. "To be someone worth forgiving." The senator sighed, eyes weary. "You think this changes anything?" "The world doesn't forget." "Maybe not," Braden said, "but I will." His father hesitated, then reached into his jacket. "If this is about money, it's not. Then what is it about?" Braden smiled sadly. "Respect. Something you can't buy." The senator stood silent for a long moment, then nodded once. "When you're ready to come home," he said. "The door's open." "Thanks," Braden said. "But right now I'm where I need to be." His father turned, leaving without another word. Jenny watched the door close and finally said, "You handled that better than I expected." "So did he," Braden replied. When closing time came, Marcus and the bikers returned, as they always did on Fridays. Word is you're still working, Marcus said. Guess that means you learned something. Yeah, Braden said. That respect isn't about who you are, it's about how you treat people. When you think no one's watching, Marcus grinned. You'll do fine, kid. That night, as Jenny counted her tips, Braden lingered by the counter. You heading out? She asked. Yeah, thought I'd grab a bus. Need a ride? You don't trust my driving. Fair, she said, smiling. See you tomorrow. He hesitated. Jenny? Yeah? For what it's worth. You changed me? She looked at him for a long moment, then said softly, No, Braden, you changed yourself. I just happened to be there. The first chill of autumn came early that year. The trees lining the old highway had already begun to yellow, and when the morning wind pushed through the open diner windows, it carried the faint scent of wood smoke and rain. Jenny was wiping down the counter when she saw the bus pull up outside. Braden stepped off, duffel bag slung over his shoulder. Hair longer now, face leaner. He'd gone away for a week to visit his mother in Denver, and the diner somehow felt quieter without him. She had gotten used to his presence. Not the boy who once spat on her, but the man who stayed long after everyone expected him to leave. He walked in with the bell's soft chime. Morning, he said. You look like you belong here now, Jenny replied. He smiled. Guess I do. Gerald grumbled from the kitchen. Then grab a rag and prove it. Braden laughed, slipped behind the counter, and went straight to work like he'd never been gone. The morning crowd was slow. Old regulars, truckers, a couple of college kids. The bikers weren't due till noon. Jenny liked it that way. She could watch Braden without feeling like she was intruding. He'd changed in ways that went beyond posture or tone. He listened to people, really listened. When Mrs. Langford came in, a cranky old woman who'd complained about cold coffee for a decade, he smiled and asked about her cat. She softened. When a homeless man wandered in with a torn coat, Braden served him a plate and slipped $10 into the register to cover it. Jenny didn't say a word. Some lessons didn't need grading. At noon, the thunder returned. 10 motorcycles again? Same rhythm, same reverence. Marcus led them in, Sarah right behind him. He took one look at Braden and grinned. Didn't scare you off, huh? Tried, Braden said. But Gerald keeps underpaying me. That's because he knows free labor when he sees it. Marcus laughed and sat down. Black coffee, Jenny? You know the drill. Coming up. She poured the cup, set it down, and Marcus nodded toward Braden. You ever tell her? Tell her what? Braden asked. That you went viral twice? Jenny frowned. Twice? The second video, Marcus said. The one we shot 3 weeks after the first. Jenny blinked. You filmed him again? Marcus grinned. Not him, really. Us. Him working, quietly, helping folks. No speeches. Just proof. Braden's face flushed. I didn't know you actually uploaded it. Didn't have to. Someone else did. Got picked up by a local news outlet. Title was cheesy as hell. Spoiled teen turns waiter for redemption. Jenny chuckled softly. Catchy. People ate it up, Marcus said. Guess the world likes a second chance story. Braden looked uncomfortable. I didn't want attention. You didn't get much, Marcus said. The story stayed small, just the way it should. He took a sip of coffee. That's how real change works, quiet. The day moved easily after that. The bikers lingered long after their plates were clean. Jenny noticed the way Braden laughed with them now. No nerves, no hesitation. When the lunch rush slowed, Marcus motioned him outside. Walk with me, he said. They stood near the parking lot, the sun sharp on the chrome bikes. I'm leaving town next week, Marcus said. Club business. Maybe a few months. You want me to keep your booth warm? No, Marcus said with a smile. I want you to remember what we talked about. How every man gets a moment that decides who he'll be. He looked out toward the road. That moment, you already had it. Don't waste it. I won't. Marcus put a hand on his shoulder. You've got good in you, kid. You just needed to get knocked down hard enough to see it. Thanks, Braden said, for everything. Don't thank me, Marcus replied. Thank her. When Braden went back inside, Jenny was at the register balancing the books. He told you? She asked. That he's leaving? Yeah, he'll be back. He always comes back. You too close? Braden asked. Marcus, he's complicated, but he's decent. That's rare. She paused, eyes softening. He lost a daughter once. Car wreck. Drunk driver. Girl was about your age. Braden's breath caught. I didn't know. He doesn't talk about it much, she said. But I think that's why he couldn't stand watching you throw your life away. Maybe you reminded him of the kid he couldn't save. Silence settled between them, heavy but not uncomfortable. Guess we both got lucky, Braden said quietly. Jenny looked up. Guess so. Days bled into weeks again. The diner's rhythm was simple but grounding. Open at 5, close at 3, same faces, same smells, same small acts of grace. Jenny paid off Miguel's medicine, then her car repair. For the first time in years, she had a little saved, enough to breathe without panic. Miguel's fever never came back. On Saturdays, he'd walk to the diner after school to help wash dishes. Braden taught him how to juggle plates for fun, and Miguel adored him. Jenny would watch from the counter, pretending to scold them for goofing off but smiling all the same. Winter crept in slow. The first frost dusted the diner windows one morning, and Braden showed up early, scraping ice off Jenny's windshield without being asked. You'll ruin your hands, she called. They'll heal, he said, grinning. He'd stopped wearing watches and expensive shoes. He'd started keeping a small notebook instead, and filled with sketches and half-written poems he'd never show anyone. The arrogance had melted away, replaced by something steadier. Peace. Then came the night everything almost fell apart again. It was late, past closing, when a group of teenagers in varsity jackets stumbled in, drunk and loud. Jenny tried to turn them away. Kitchen's closed, she said, but one of them sneered. So was your dignity when you took his spit. Braden froze. Jenny's face went pale. You should leave, she said evenly. Oh, relax, the boy said, swaggering closer. We just wanted to meet the legend, the fallen prince of privilege. Guess the rumors are true. You really are washing dishes now. His friends laughed. Braden didn't move. He just stared at the floor, hands trembling. You don't have to do this, Jenny whispered. I know, he said quietly. Then he looked up. But I'm not walking away this time. He stepped around the counter, facing the boy squarely. You want to laugh at me? He said, voice calm. Fine, go ahead. The boy smirked. Oh, I plan to. But leave her out of it. Or what? Braden didn't answer. He just stood there, steady, silent. The door opened behind them, and the familiar low rumble of motorcycles filled the air. Marcus, Sarah, the whole crew. They must have heard. Small towns have fast messengers. The boys' laughter died as 10 bikers stepped inside. Marcus looked from Braden to the teens. Problem here? No, sir, the boy said quickly, backing away. Then get gone. They left without another word. When the door shut, Braden exhaled shakily. You always show up at the right time, he told Marcus. Nah, Marcus said. You handled that fine. Didn't need us? Jenny looked at him. He did it right this time, Marcus smiled. Told you he would. Then he turned to Braden. Next time, you'll be the one walking someone else out of trouble. That's how it works. A month later, Braden gave his notice. You quitting? Jenny asked. Kind of, he said. Got accepted into a community college over in Reno. I want to study social work. She blinked. Social work? Yeah. Figured I spent enough time being part of the problem. Maybe I can learn how to be part of the fix. She smiled. Proud, sad all at once. You'll be good at it. Only because of you, he said. No, she replied softly. Because you finally listened. On his last day, the diner was full. Bikers, locals, even Gerald cracked a smile. Marcus raised a toast with his coffee. To second chances, he said. Jenny added, and to people brave enough to take them. Braden looked around, his eyes shining. You all saved me, he said. No, Marcus corrected. We just stood up. You saved yourself. When he hugged Jenny goodbye, she slipped something into his hand, a folded napkin. He opened it later on the bus. Inside was the note he'd written months ago. I'll keep showing up. Beneath it, in her handwriting, was one more line. You did. The bus rolled west toward Reno, the town shrinking behind him, the sky burning orange over the horizon. He looked out the window, smiling through the blur. Somewhere in that fading distance, he imagined the diner lights still glowing, the sound of laughter, the smell of coffee, the hum of 10 engines on the open road. And for the first time in his life, the world felt honest. Months later, Jenny would receive a letter, handwritten. Hey, Jenny, college is weird. Nobody here cares who my father is, and that feels good. I got a part-time job at a community kitchen. Turns out I'm not terrible with people after all. Miguel's soccer picture you sent made me smile. Tell him I'm still waiting for that rematch. And tell Marcus, and wherever he is, that I owe him 1 ride on a Harley. Maybe 2. I used to think power was about who listens to you. Now I think it's about who you choose to listen to. You taught me that. Thank you for giving me a place to start over. Braden. She folded the letter, placed it in the register next to the napkin note, and went back to pouring coffee for a new customer. The diner bell chimed again. Life rolled on, not perfect, not easy, but lighter somehow. And far down the highway, somewhere between deserts and mountains, Marcus rode beneath a crimson sunset, the wind tugging at his jacket, the sound of his Harley blending with his heartbeat. He smiled beneath his helmet, thinking about a boy who'd learned humility and a woman who'd rediscovered her worth. He whispered into the wind, "That's how it's supposed to end." But maybe it didn't end there. Maybe years later, someone would sit in that same diner booth, watching the same kind of kid walk in, lost, loud, unsure, and see Jenny smile knowingly. Maybe she'd pour him a cup and say, "We've all been there." Maybe she'd tell him a story about a boy who made a terrible mistake and spent the rest of his life fixing it. Because stories like that don't really end. They just keep passing through people, one act of grace at a time,